Yeah.
हॅलो
हाँ बोला.
हाँ स्क्रीन दिसते
हो हो दिसते.
हॅलो
हा इथं दिसते. TYBSc
Okay.
Computer Science.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Professor Amit Yadav, going to teach you the subject web services. Before start the lecture, just review the yesterday's lecture, as most of the students admitted yesterday. So this syllabus you know already, I think. These are the reference book and these are the practical. Let's come to subject directly. Web service is nothing but the services that are available on the internet. Let's see the simple example of web services. Suppose you go to hotel and if you try to place an order, at that time the waiter comes to you and take your order and pass to chef, right? So the waiter is nothing but work as a web services in computer world. So the you cannot communicate directly with the chef. Just pass the order to the waiter and waiter forward it to the chef. So here the waiter work as a communication medium between client and server. Okay. So in the computer world, you are the service requester and chef is the service provider. And between you and chef, the communicate medium is nothing but the waiter. So this is client and server. Client always send request to the server and server response. And for communication, we use web service here. Let's see one more example of web service. Here, whenever we want to book a ticket, air ticket, at that time we visit, for example, Make My Trip website, and we write our source and destination place and select the date, journey date, and click on a search button. At that time, we find we find the data from the different websites. So we get that data, for example, from Indigo website, from Airjet website. Okay, that websites are nothing but the server from which we get that data on our web page. So we book our flight as per our convenience, as per our time. So here the web service role is to get all the data from different services. So we are the client. That means we send request to the my trip, Make My Trip, to book a air ticket, and here Make My Trip use the web service to get or to fetch the data from the different service. Let's see one more example of travel agency. Here, this is our app, client app, and we try to book our holiday destination by using travel services. So whenever we try to book, it provides us the different services like airline services to book the ticket, for to stay in a room. They provide to stay in a room, and food services. They provide hotel services, and for payment, it provides credit card services. Okay, so this is the working of web services. We just fastly revise this concept. So here it's a client and it's a server. Client send request to the server and server response. But for that we required, if server uses web services, for that we required a medium and format. So medium is HTTP. That protocol is used to send the data to the server and receive data from server, and its format is XML or JSON. Yesterday we saw the example of phone. When we try to call anyone, at that time, first we establish the connection, and when connection established, then we need some format or we need some language to communicate with each other. This is nothing but the format. So here in web services, the format is XML or JSON that we use. These are the two types of web services. First one is the simple and second one is the complex. In simple, we just send a request and the web service reply for the same. There is no connection between the different requesters. In complex web services, it work on different requesters. It proceed on it and then forward to client. So these are the two different types. In simple web services we use SOAP, and in complex web services we use REST. These different protocols used to send and receive the data. So next one is the web service architecture. So in web service, there is a service provider, service registry, and service requester. We are the service requester that we want to use some services. So we send a request to the service provider. Service provider accept our request and find the different web services that are present in a registry. So it fetch that particular request and publish it and bind it with the service requester. So here the provider creates the web service and makes it available to the client. Requester, requester is nothing but the client application that needs to contact the web services, and broker where all the services are the stored. They this service registry give access to the service provider. So it choose the particular service. Next one is the publish. So a provider informs the broker, that is service registry, about the existence of the web services by using the broker publish interface to make the service accessible to the client. So whenever the service registry publish the web service, at that time the client can use that service. So web registry or service registry must publish the web services that is requested from the service requester. Then find the requester consults the broker to locate a published web service. Okay, so whenever the requester wants any service, it asks to service registry to publish. So the service requester find that particular service and bind with it. Bind with the information it gained from the broker or the service registry about the web service. The requester is able to bind or invoke the web services. So the client, service requester want to use that without binding it, it cannot use that service. So binding is important here. So this is the web server architecture. Then these are some characteristics. It is XML based, which is loosely coupled, synchronous and asynchronous functionality, ability to serve remote procedure call and support the documentation. XML based, that in web services we heavily use XML. So it is XML based, loosely coupled. That means client and the web service are not bound to each other, which means that even if the web services changes over the time, it should not be changed. So as per the period, the web services format get changed, but the binding process never get changed. So it's a loosely coupled so that the client can bind to the service provider. Then two different terms are here: synchronous or asynchronous functionality. In synchronous, it accept the service and process it and then accept the new service. That is synchronous. That means at a time they cannot proceed the request. That is the synchronous. That means web service requests n number of requests from the client, but it first accept the request and then process it and then accept the new request. In asynchronous, it accept all the requests and simultaneously process on each and every request. So this is the synchronous and asynchronous. The time required to execute for the asynchronous is less than as compared to synchronous. Hello. Like curious is the vichara. Next one is ability to support remote procedure calls. As the client is at a different place and server is at different location, they use remote procedure call. So the function get calls and the web service get calls. Web service get executed. And as it is heavily use of XML, they support document exchange. So these are the advantages which is used to expose the business. As we have seen Make My Trip can access the different databases. So it are not that Make My Trip is not bound with the particular services. Like for example, Air India or Indigo. It uses different databases, so it exposes their business. Use standard protocol. Generally, they are using HTTP protocol to send and request data. Then reduce cost in communication as we are using web services, so we can communicate with the different server in very small amount. So it reduces the cost. So here we end with the introduction. In that we have seen introduction of web services, its type, its advantages and disadvantages. So next point is overview of XML. So in XML, we start our XML with bracket question mark XML and we specify the version, XML version 1.0, and encode is the font format. So XML stands for extensible markup language. It used to store and transport the data. It is self-descriptive language. That means in XML we use user-defined tags. So it implies their meaning. Encoding, the character encoding use the document. And here in XML, the declaration is case sensitive. That means it differentiates between small letter and capital letter. So this is the syntax. Here we use element tag. It's nothing but the user defined. So whatever the name we want to give as per our data, we can give it. For example, if I want to store the book information, I use book tag here. And if I want to save its name, then use name tag. Its price, then price tag, like that. So this is example of book. So we start with the XML version. Same like HTML, we start with the HTML. This is the book tag, and here we write one element info where we want to store the book information or personal information. I think so. Here we use info tag, the person name, ATC, its phone number, and email and address. And here we close the info. Yesterday we have seen the XML example. No, it's not here. Okay, let's see. Let's move forward. So XML attribute, we can specify the attribute. It's same like a HTML tag attribute. In a tag we use href. For image tag we use href, and sorry, in image tag we use src, height and width. These are the attributes. Same like that we use attributes in XML that are enclosed in a single or double quoted. So here we end with the yesterday's lecture. Let's start with today's one. So today we are going to start. So this is the protocol, simple object access protocol. So first one is the introduction. SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. It is an XML-based messaging protocol for exchanging the information among the computers. So whenever we request some services from the web services and we request some data to show on our website, we use SOAP protocol for that. So SOAP is used to exchange the information between us, between the client and web services. SOAP is a communication protocol designed to communicate via internet. As we are using web services, and the web services are the services provided on the internet. So SOAP protocol is used to communicate with the web services through internet. The SOAP can be extended HTTP for XML messaging. So using SOAP, the SOAP uses HTTP protocol to send and receive information in XML format. SOAP provides data transport for the web services that we have already discussed. That means using SOAP we can send and receive the data. SOAP can exchange the complete documents or the call call a remote procedure. So there are two ways. We can simply call the function, or we can send the whole document at a time using SOAP protocol. SOAP can be used for the broadcasting a message. So using SOAP, we can send a message or the data
हॅलो.
to number of computers.
सर
Hello,
हा सर मुलं chatमध्ये बोलतायत की त्यांना स्क्रीन दिसत नाही.
screen से नहीं.
एक्झाम्पल ऑफ XML एलिमेंटच दिसतं इथे.
Okay, okay. एक मिनिट.
हां जी सर.
प्लीज पूर्ण स्क्रीन शेअर केली होती. ओके, दिसते ना? हेलो.
आता आली. नाही नाही अभी मैंने रिव्यू किया था कॉलेज पहले. आता आली सर.
अरे हो हो.
हाँ सर अभी आई है.
दिसते स्क्रीन सगळ्यांना? आवाज पण येतोय का?
हो हो हो.
हो आता येतोय.
आधी सांगतो ना जरा, एवढी मेहनत होती वाया गेली. Okay, so here we start with the SOAP. SOAP is a protocol used to communicate with the web services. SOAP stands for Simple Object Access Protocol. It is XML-based messaging protocol to exchange the information among the computers. So here we use the XML format to get and to send information to the web services. SOAP is a communication protocol designed to communication via internet. As the web services provide services on internet and they use a SOAP protocol. SOAP protocol is also used to communicate with the internet. SOAP can extended HTTP or XML messaging. So SOAP use HTTP protocol to send and receive the data. SOAP provide data transport from web services that we have already discussed. Next one, SOAP can exchange the complete documents or all the remote procedure. That means whenever it wants to send the information, it can be sent with the documents or it call the function. Okay. SOAP can be used for broadcasting a message. Using SOAP, we can access the different web services. That means we can access the different web services by using SOAP protocol. Next one is the SOAP is a platform and language independent. So if we are with client developing the application in ASP.NET and server provider is in develop the application in Java, and if client want to access that particular application, then they can communicate with the with each other using SOAP. So they can platform independent and language independent. They are using client using C# and server using Java. So it's a language independent also. Next one is the SOAP is the XML way of defining what information is sent and how. So using XML, we share that information. SOAP enables client application to easily connect to the remote service and invoke the remote methods. So here the client access the server using remote call. So using XML, it creates an object and call the particular method on server. So it is nothing but the remote methods. Although SOAP can be used in a variety of messaging system and can be delivered via a variety of transport protocols, the initial focus of SOAP is to remote procedure call transported via HTTP. So using SOAP, we can exchange the information, but the first SOAP is try to connect the server through HTTP protocol. And there are number of services or number of protocols are available like Cobra, DCOM, and Java RMI. They are providing same services as per the SOAP, but SOAP focuses on XML or SOAP uses XML. So it's a platform and language independent. Okay. Next one is the SOAP message structure. So in whenever we send a message, the message goes in this format. So first, the root element is SOAP envelope. In that, header and body is enclosed. Header tag is used to send some information regarding this content, and body is tag that we use to send actual message, and fault is used for if any error is generated, then it shows by using font. So this is the soap message structure. It is same like our post. When we post a letter, it requires envelope. In that we uh, insert our letter, right? So same like here structure. SOAP uses. It required header, body, and fault. Fault, if any error is generated while transferring the data from client to server, it shows an error. So here we use envelope, defines the start and end of the message. It is mandatory element. So our first tag should be envelope here. Next one is the header. Header contains any optional attributes of the message used in processing the messages, either an intermediary point or the ultimate endpoint. It is an optional element. So in header, we give the information regarding our messages, what information that we want to share. Next, body contains the XML data comprising the message being sent. It is a mandatory element. So there are a number of header we can use, but body is only one where we send the actual data. Fault, an optional fault element that provides the information about errors. So we try to communicate with the web services, and if any error is generated, it show by the fault element. Next one is the all these elements are declared in default namespace or the SOAP envelope. So here we get all the information http www.w3.org/2001-12 SOAP envelope. So regarding envelope, we get all the information in this URL, and for encoding we can visit this website. So here we get all the information regarding encoding. All these specifications are the subject to change, so keep updating here. So as the new version comes, the information, so the URL maybe get changed. So this is the structure of envelope. Here we start the envelope. We use namespaces here so that it is uniquely identified. So env. Okay, this is the envelope, and this is the URL that we provided, so that if any error generated in envelope, it shows. So env encoding style, here we provide the encoding style. If you visit these websites, you can get all the details regarding envelope. So if you want to use header, so env, this is namespace that we use in each and every tag in XML. So env header. In body tag, we write the message. Then if error generated, we handle the fault. Here we close the body tag and we close the envelope. You find that it's a namespace we use for the each and every XML tag. So env. Next one. SOAP envelope. The SOAP envelope indicates that the start and end of the message, so that indicates that the start and end. So it is the root element, SOAP envelope, that we use at the when we started our XML page. SOAP envelope solves the problems knowing when you are done receiving a message and are ready to proceed. So we start the SOAP envelope when we want to enter some problem. Every SOAP message has a root envelope element. So the root element is envelope. Envelope is mandatory part of the SOAP message. So our coding start with the envelope, SOAP envelope. So it's a mandatory part and it's a root part. And it has exactly one body element, and there are number of headers we can use in a under SOAP envelope. The header is the first child. So after starting the envelope code, there must be a SOAP header tag. The envelope changes when the SOAP version changes. Okay, as the SOAP version get updated, the envelope also get changed. SOAP envelope is specified using env namespace. So we use env namespace everywhere. The optional SOAP encoding is also specified using namespace and name the optional encoding style. We can specify the encoding style as per our requirement. So this is an example of SOAP ENV. Here we start with the SOAP ENV envelope, and here we specify the environment. Here we get the all information regarding the envelope, and here we get the encoding style. It's optional. If we require, then only we can write it. Then message information comes here. So here we use the body type. So with HTTP post. So whenever we want to post some information, we use HTTP tag. HTTP post operation which sends the message to the server. So whenever we want to communicate with the server, we use HTTP post. It shows the namespace for the envelope schema definition for the schema definition. So we have seen XML schema in last year in web programming. So in that we use the namespaces. We use schema. Okay. So envelope schema definition we use if we want to use the HTTP post. It defines some encoding rules. So it uses HTTP or SMTP protocol to send and receive. HTTP we generally use for the synchronous, and SMTP is asynchronous method. Here content type and in HTTP post, the content type and content length are the important headers that we use. SMTP is asynchronous. This is the syntax to send HTTP post. So here we use post item HTTP. Here we use the version post. Here we can specify our IP address, or here we can specify our URL also. Content type. So here we specify the message type, text length, and here content length, that is 200 character. Here we discuss all the things. Content type. So here we mention the font or the type of the message that we want to share. So this is the example of a HTTP post. Here post order entry. Suppose that we want to send order entry to the server. Here we mention the order entry HTTP protocol 1.1. Post name is www.ics.com. Content type application source, and here we write the content type UTF, that is the font type, and content length is, here we can specify the number of characters. So here we write the number of bytes that we want have to use. Here for example I write NNN, instead that we can use the particular number also. So this is the syntax. XML version 1.0. Here we start with the XML. Here we write the envelope as SOAP envelope, and here we write the environment, SOAP environment. Here we specify the envelope. These two headers are optional. Then here we write the message and close the envelope tab. So this information we send it to the particular server. This is the host ID. Okay. So we have seen envelope. Now the next element is SOAP header. It is the optional part of SOAP message. Header element can occur multiple times. So number of headers we can use in a SOAP messages. Headers are intended to add new feature and functionality. If we add new things in a SOAP, that we can mention using header. The SOAP header contains the header entries defined in the namespaces. So whatever the namespace we use, we can assign it to the particular header. The header is encoded as the first immediate child. So header is the first element after the envelope. And when multiple headers are defined, all immediate child elements of the SOAP header interpreted as the SOAP header blocks. So we can use the multiple headers here, and they are known as the SOAP header blocks. The attributes of header type. So first attribute is the actor. Actor used to specify the URI. In URI we specify the URL. So whenever we send message from one location to another location, at that time the message moves to the different paths. So here we specify the final destination. That means the final location where we want to send the message. So this actor tag used for it. So this is example for the header. Here we start with the envelope. These two headers are optional. Here we start the header. That we want to write some transaction. Here we specify the transaction URL. And here we add some more header. Here we use the actor attribute for the final address. Here we close the header and close the envelope. Here we write the actual text or actual message. So next attribute, important attribute is must understand. So if the must understands value is 1, that means the message does not reach to the destination. If it is 0, then the message successfully reached to the destination. So its value is either 0 or 1. So this is the example of must understand. Here the value is 1, that means it's some problem there is occur to send message to the server. All are within same. Okay, tomorrow we will continue with the remaining part. If you have any doubt, then you can ask me. Thank you very much.